you know, I've done Har Ek Friend Zaruri Hota Hai after that, and I decided to reinvent myself, and I decided to do other things.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see how to continuously reinvent myself for fear of not having work. भाई आप लोग क्या बोल रहे हो इधर, लाइक यू नो वेस एंडरसन का फ्रेमिंग होना चाहिए, हमको वो पता है. अच्छा या हेनरी कार्टियर-ब्रेसॉन जैसा, बट व्हाई नॉट मेक chaotic framing? Why not be us? And more I'm trying to get to an Indian aesthetic, an Indian eye, an Indian way of telling, rather than, and because I was in NYU for a while, and I did have the opportunity of living in New York because my eldest brother stays there. But it's a huge fucking monster of a car.
Yeah, this is the autobiography. Mr. Bachchan has this one.
Acha.
The seats in the back recline and shit.
Man, ये मेरी गली के अंदर, घर के अंदर आएगी ही नहीं गाड़ी.
हाँ, घर जाएगा. Hello and good morning, Ram. Welcome to Mashable Mornings. How are you doing?
Hi, Siddharth. Thank you for like sort of making me feel important, and you know, sort of by giving me your time and energy, because you're going to get all of I think for other people you must have got 70,000, 50,000 views. For me you'll get 5 views and 7 views. So
देखिए, आप लोग को अगर पता नहीं है तो राम माधवानी जी ने ना ऐसी एड्स बनाई हैं, आप लोग जाके एक बार गूगल कर लीजिए, फिर आप लोग जब एपिसोड देखो तो ज्यादा मजा आएगा.
Thank you for that. I'm unknown and would rather be like that.
Apart from the fact that there's Neerja and Arya, that I am lately a fanboy of. The OG fanboy moment for me is the ads that you make. Morning routine है क्या आपका?
I have a 9 o'clock. I do get a trainer 3 times a week. At 10 a.m. I have meditation.
Is this yoga or like what are you doing?
So depending on what he feels like doing. But at 10 o'clock I have meditation, which is with an Ayurvedic doctor who I highly recommend. His name is Dr. Shailendra Chaube, and he's fantastic. So he's been with me for a while, and he's also the Ayurvedic doctor. And you know, so 10 to 10:30 most days I'm meditating. There's no breakfast or anything. My first meal is at about 2 o'clock.
So really, you're doing like an intermittent
I'm doing
kind
that.
of thing?
I don't think it's helping.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
नहीं, आप 4-5 साल यंग लग रहे हो वैसे.
4-5 साल तो मैं तो 4-5 साल का ही हूँ emotionally.
That's interesting. That's so nice to know.
And then I try and get to office by emails and all that start. But by 11:30 I'm out, and by 12 I'm at wherever work. If I can manage this, so the mornings is health.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm trying. I mean, it happens. Let's say out of 300 and how many days are there in a year? 55, 54, 365, 365. So out of 365, I'm trying to do it at least 250 तक तो हो ही जाता है.
हाँ.
ये routine तो होता ही है.
Very cool.
Yeah. I try not to shoot nights because I think people become like different after 1 o'clock in the morning. So I don't shoot whole nights. So if I'm shooting nights, I try and get everybody in bed by 2 o'clock.
Nice.
So because after 2-3, people are not people.
Yeah, that's true.
What I try and do nowadays is I try and do a 2-week health holiday.
Oh yeah?
Every year. So I go to an Ayurvedic retreat.
Wow.
And that is my what is it? The secret of my youth. Is that it's not any soap.
Are you like trying to be silent and all also during those days?
No.
Utna nahi.
No, utna nahi. No, silence is something which, like unfortunately with directors, I think that our job is to talk.
Yeah.
And so then I go and detox. And then I come and retox.
True. And like in advertising.
But you know, amazingly, apart from our job is to talk, most of us, I think, are introverted people, right? We didn't, in school we were shy, and now we have to do all of this, and we have to put on this act, and we have to, I don't know why we do it. Like there's an Australian director, Peter Weir, who said, why do we make movies? Wouldn't it be better if we went for a walk? In this case, wouldn't it be better if we went for a drive?
Yeah, 100%. I would completely agree. Do you do life coaching and mentorship?
You know, this is one of the things that I'm trying very hard not to do. I keep telling people, I'm not your mentor, you're mine.
Okay.
Because if I become a mentor, they'll retire me. And that's something which they've been trying to do for a very long time. And I'm not allowing it.
ये दे बोलते हो आप तो जो ये आपके ऑफिस वाले लोग हैं.
काफी कोई the days है. These days we will not take the days names. But काफी लोग हैं who, and you know, at a certain point I'm trying also very hard to run a production house and to run sort of a series which has which has other directors, and sort of trying to make those transitions so that we can stay relevant. And in doing that, I just don't want to be somebody's uncle. I've had other uncles, not that there's bad, but I don't want to tell people do this. I want to actually be in a position of I mean, I know all this sounds a little corny, but I genuinely want to get to a position where I don't know. Ram Madhvani Films was an act that was a bit of a, I would say, a little bit of an arrogant act to like name a company after yourself. But my wife, Amita, who's really the force behind everything, she's the one who, as you saw, and her energy. But she said that no, let's call it Ram Madhvani Films because everybody knew me.
Correct. Aapka naam bikta hai.
Exactly. Fir wohi hai. And as stupid as that sounds, that's what it became. So,
true.
Yes, we're trying to see how we can do advertising and series and feature films, and now the big new thing, which is gaming and virtual.
Yes.
And so over the last 3 years, we've been trying to get into the virtual reality world. We now have a mobile game, which is soon going to get published.
Oh wow!
And that's again thanks to Amita and one of the virtual game head called Quaffer. And so this is it's all how shall I say, the struggle of trying to climb a mountain. And that mountain is actually trying to see how we can be in the business of feelings. Rather than just telling stories. I'm here to change your mood. And I think that's really what this trip is about.
Interesting.
In this car journey that I'm doing just now.
I like that.
We went to all these theatres because what happened was that it changed our mood, it changed our feeling.
Hanji.
हम अंदर गए एक अलग मूड से, हम बाहर आए एक अलग मूड से.
That's true. That's what theatres do to us even
exactly,
today, right?
Even today, yeah. And I find that we've stopped for a reason. We're okay, all well. Yes.
They've forgotten to move my camera, my bag and my tiffin, which is going to be in this frame. अब हमारा crew आएगा भागते हुए, उनको समझेगा कि उन्होंने क्या गलती की.
But why do they need to? अच्छा, that's right here in frame.
that's right there in frame. So it's going to be.
But why don't we just eat it? This is wonderful.
Yeah, this is perfect.
You see, this is actually what we don't do in our movies.
Yeah.
This is life.
हाइपर रियल नहीं है हमारा सिनेमा. काफी सिनेमा एक आधी दो डायरेक्टर हैं आज के कंटेम्प्रेरीज में जो बचे होंगे, जो बहुत हाइपर रियल सिनेमा बनाते भी हैं.
Nowadays, not so many physical theatres, but this is where we grew up, and this is now of course those theatres are inside us.
Yes.
But the reason that we came to the theatres, and I'll just take 1 minute telling you, because I came from a town called Barsi, which was near Sholapur, is that there were 4 theatres there in Barsi, which was like the main named after the 4 Mangeshkar sisters. So every time I wanted to go and see a movie, like let's say Yadon Ki Barat, and it was my holidays, I used to be given like a chair, even if it was house full. So at age 8, they would say, okay, Ram wants to come in, and and so my father would call, or somebody from the family would call up. I don't know who called.
Yeah.
And then they were giving me, I would be given mangola, I'd be given popcorn, and then I could see the movie as many times as I wanted.
Superb.
And so my theatre journey about a safe place, right? There are safe places that you feel, and also because we're all introverted people, this is where you could live other lives, you could be extroverted. And from the school where I had, it was a theatre which was like the assembly hall got converted into a theatre, to Barsi, which was, the 4 theatres that were there, to Sholapur, which is where I used to go, because that was an air-conditioned theatre.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. To a holiday which my uncle took me to in Hyderabad when I was 9 years old, and I said, listen, I'll come to Hyderabad, but can we please see Namak Haram, because it was not being released in Barsi. And I went to Hyderabad to see that.
कहाँ पर गए थे आप हैदराबाद में?
So now I don't remember the theatre, but I don't remember it because my uncle didn't take me eventually. I went there, and then he kept me in the hotel room, and he didn't take me to see the movie.
Damn.
That wound is, sort of yet hurts. So I actually finally watched it many years later on VHS. I couldn't see it in the movie. And that trauma yet lasts. And that was our other journey, from Hindi movies to Sterling and Eros and Excelsior, which is where the English movies. I went to Sterling, where they were playing Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon.
Oh, wow.
And I was too young, so I painted a mustache on myself to enter the Dragon. And everything was bang on. It was perfect. Like realize that I'll get an ice cream, and just when the lights go off and everybody's inside, I'll go in. I had the ice cream covering my mouth, and I said, "चलो भाई हो गया." मैं पहुंच गया, अंदर पहुंच गया, मैं सीट तक मैं पहुंचा, मैं बैठा. I sat down, and then the usher came, and he pointed his light at me, and he said, "Get out. You're not 18." But this is another theatre, obviously.
We've reached Maratha Mandir.
We've reached Maratha Mandir, which is one of the theatres that yet exists. These were the temples, right? It's a mandir, right? So, हमारे लिए सब मंदिर ही थे.
Correct.
Like Maratha Mandir, obviously now DDLJ is yet playing, but I remember seeing so many movies here.
Yeah.
The excitement of that, when in the interval, they used to have these little postcards, right, of the movie. And you used to walk by and say, "Acha, ye scene hua, ye scene nahi hua." It was a big deal, right, to talk about all those things. Like those were what today they call as pre-caps.
True.
That was my pre-cap.
To everything.
Just through that interval, कि भाई अच्छा ये आने वाला है.
हाँ.
Yeah. तो आजकल हम लोग pre-cap काटते हैं.
जी, सही बोल रहे हो आप.
Yeah, no. And I remember collecting from a magazine, I think at that time, was it called Star and Style or Picture Post or whatever, and they used to have directors at work. And I yet have a file of like when I was from 16 years old saying that I started reading those articles, and those were things that I used to cut and keep, and I used to review movies and sort of say these many stars and all the rest. That this was all part of it, but that was one theatre. Then of course there is coming up, like later we'll get to Novelty. These are all big names, right?
Yeah.
Maratha Mandir, Alankar, Ganga Jamna, and Novelty, like let's say Roxy, Opera House.
True.
These were big names. Like nowadays I think that those names are being used for buildings, right? The reason I didn't want to take you through a nostalgia trip, because one of the plays that Baman came in, which was called I'm Not Bajirao, where he says nostalgia is a disease.
Yeah.
So this is not a nostalgia trip about showing you, sort of various theatres.
Yes.
Yeah. This is really about who we are.
I went into a trip thinking any filmmaker, if you should ask them, will have a big film story. Like my dad's probably seen every film that is released in the last 20 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah. He's
so
crazy.
when you wanted to get into this field, he was okay.
Yeah, no, I was my mom was having me, I was being conceived.
Right.
And they would watch 2 films in a day sometimes.
That explains who you are.
Yeah, that explains who I am, and then that's what your like this journey, क्योंकि इतना प्रेम किसी को पिक्चरों से कैसे और क्यों होगा कि आपको दुख है जिंदगी का 2 बड़ा एंटर द ड्रैगन और उससे पहली वाली फिल्म को लेके ये तो नायाब है ऐसे दुख कितने लोगों को होंगे
but what happened was that in seeing all these movies, and then of course the other theatres were Alliance Française and NCPA and not Akashvani, which was the big Bombay theatre that showed us art movies. Art movies is what they were called. And Art Satya, for instance, I saw a Novelty, which I'm hoping will pass soon.
Yes, it'll come now.
Yeah, but all of these influences. And also from Tarkovsky to Fellini to Godard to Satyajit Ray to all Shyam Benegal, all of these people, they now come and sit on my shoulders, including obviously Yash Chopra and Subhash Ghai and
Karan Johar.
Karan Johar, and everybody who's been there and who's sort of telling us what their cinema is like. And I now have so many people now telling me in my soul there is a Hindi film buff, and then there is a person who's been exposed to international cinema, and I'm trying very hard to, in the journey that I'm taking of being in the middle of that. So I will constantly be, whether I'm doing Nirja or whether I'm doing Arya or Dhamaka, there is an Indian soul, and those in my writer's room, they're constantly surprised how much of the narration in my bad Hindi will always be about तो फिर क्या होता है, नीरजा बाथरूम में जाती है, फिर वो देखती है अपने आप को, फिर बाहर से विलन जो है ना ठक 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 करता है, और फिर नीरजा बोलती है, वो धोती है अपनी मुंह, फिर वो बोलती है तेरी ऐसी की तैसी, I'm going to get him. That's the soul. Her eyes are going to get bloodshot and she's going to say, I'm going to, but that's not the execution. The execution is what it is, which is that poor Nirja and cut. And that Jim Sarb is outside and banging the door. But the soul of it is that. The execution of it is hopefully not that I'm, we just did Arya season 3, which we just, editing. And somebody said to me, Ram, that sequence is too filmy. And I said, oh shit, have I gone, because I'm walking the tightrope of trying to reach out, right? I want to reach out desperately to what I call now as Klasa G and Mossa G. Okay.
Very cool. I was about to say India and Bharat.
But I am reaching out. I'm hoping that I'm reaching out in the work that I'm doing, where I do want to reach out to everybody from, let's say, South Bombay to everywhere. And Ranchi, Patna, everywhere. I want to reach out to cities. I want to reach out to towns. And the reason that I think that is happening, and the reason for this journey that I'm taking you on, which I'm only showing you a bit of the emotional upbringing that we were given by the value systems that those movies gave us, whether it was Shakti, which spoke about dharma, or Silsila, and everything else that we saw. And they gave us a value system, and they made us feel, and they made us cry, and they made us forget. Those moments, I'm just a plodder. I'm a headbanger. I work and work and work and work and work, and I think and think and think, and I go here and I go there. So it is a hard, I think with everybody who's worked with me knows that it is a
hard process.
It's a hard headbanging process.
Really? Why?
It doesn't come easy to me. I wish it could. And maybe that's now become habit, stupidly, that I believe that it's only in that process that I will get something. And maybe I need to work towards it becoming easier. I'm trying to see how to make it more fun.
No. You'd made the Happydent ad that won the Silver Khan Lion.
Yes.
In that, there is a very core Indian music that kicks in.
Well, Prasun Joshi is also thanks to him.
Yes.
And Shantanu Moitra did the music, and so I think that there was Kailash Khed sang it.
Yes.
So a lot of it has also got to do. But the fact is that Prasun and me also did some very good work, because we connected and we said, bring in some spirituality, bring in some philosophy into the advertising.
But that's
we're going to pass Capital Theatre now.
Yes, Capital's coming. Yeah. That's why we're here.
Yeah. So, but yes, what was that moment? So, I mean, see, they had done an earlier Happydent ad, so Prasoon obviously knew what the brief was, but we did a really bad commercial together, where we said, oh gosh, this is the kind of commercial that we should not be doing.
Can we tell?
No, we can't tell what that commercial was, but
different brand.
But we were in the Loo together, different brand altogether.
Anji.
And we were in Delhi. And at that time, sort of Prasoon said, hey, by the way, there is this other ad, and we don't know whether anybody in India can do it. And first of all, great that he didn't give me creative blame for doing a bad ad.
Yeah.
Even after doing a bad ad, he said, it's okay, I'm giving you, what do you think about this? And I said, sir, let me just show you some stuff that I would like to. And so Chetan, who's from Animagic, who is the storyboard artist, I spoke to him and I said, let's just do it as a spec. So I got back to Prasoon with storyboards saying, this is what I'd like to do. And it was meant to be a montage movie, a montage film about various people using, and I said, but sir, we need to make it into a narrative film, because montage, I feel, doesn't quite, it works and it's great for, it's good advertising, etc. But I really think a story needs to be there. And then that happened over some time, and then once we were at the airport and I was telling him, so we have to make it a narrative, and then he came up with the idea and he said, it's a man who's late. And the reason he's late is because, and then that's how it happened. And then it became a narrative film that became a montage film.
Oh wow. I can't imagine down edits of that film, because I'm like, kya hi dikhaoge? Isme to pura journey bahut important hai.
We had a 60 and we had an 84 seconder, because that's what it became. And I remember showing it to the client, and of course, responsibly we showed the 60 first.
Yeah.
And then he said, can I see the 85 or the 84?
Yeah.
And then he bowed down. And you know what happened when I was doing the music? Vishal Shekhar were in the other studio, I was doing another ad.
Yeah.
So in this studio I was doing this music, in the other studio I was doing the other music, and they said, what are you doing there? And they came and saw it, and they said, we want to be involved. And so they gave the Qawwali claps.
Oh wow. That was so cool.
When we first did the edit, and obviously this is, I think, again, just with me and Prasoon, which is, so I showed it to him and he said, "Theek lag raha hai, sir." "Haan, theek lag raha hai. Haan, chalo." It was always like that, right? You don't know what you're making.
Yeah.
And Sally, who was the editor, said, "Ram, this is your Sholay, this is your Sholay." And I said, "What, is everything going to be downhill after this?"
because you've hit that mark.
Yeah, but you know, I've done Har Ek Friend Zaruri Hota Hai after that, and I decided to reinvent myself, and I decided to do other things.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to see how to continuously reinvent myself for fear of not having work. There's only fear that's driving it.
No, but Airtel became a very big client of yours. Yes. Har Ek Friend and the other song also.
Yeah, so Jo Mera Hai Tera Hai.
Jo Mera Hai Wo Tera
That's
Hai.
Aggie, thanks to Aggie.
Yeah.
And yes, I have had like a good, strong relationship with Airtel over the last, I don't know, has it been now 11 years, maybe 14 years? And it's been fantastic because Gopal, who's running it also, and there is a certain Airtel brand kind of tone of voice.
True.
That is so unsaid. But it is, if you ask me to define it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just finished an Airtel ad.
Well,
narrative.
That's great. Why the hell are you taking work away from me?
3-4 years. No, we are more digital. You can
I
keep
don't
doing
care.
the mainline work.
I don't know. I
want
want that digital work too. I'm sorry. I'm getting out of the car right now. Please stop here.
Hello,
You're
Airtel,
my competition.
Please call. We will do something together.
I want to try and see how we can go back to who we were. As it is, my language has been taken away from me. Please don't take my movies away from me. You took Bachelors away, you took my theatres. Don't take my movies away. I want to be filmy.
100%.
Yeah. I
That's
want
true.
that soul to be coming from there. And a lot of, therefore, what we're trying to do is to try and be in that middle path of being somebody who is Indian in what we make. Amita is the force and is the main person. I take all the credit. That's why soon I will not be in this car and she'll be in this car.
Yeah, the businesswoman.
She should be in this car actually.
But how easy or difficult is it?
So first, what happened, I have to tell you that it was, these things don't happen nowadays, but Amita was an intern.
Oh wow.
Yeah. In Equinox, we started really in one room. And then now my life story is that room that you saw, which was on the left. And
हम आपको लेके जाएंगे वहाँ पर, टेंशन मत लो.
ठीक है. तब ये मेरी life है, that corridor. Starting from that room and going, that's my entire life, that one corridor.
Yeah.
Okay, starting from one office and getting the corridor.
Wow.
And she joined when she was in as a trainee, and then we fell in love, and now thanks to Shumantro, who's my other big influence and my mentor and guru, apart from my brothers and who really gave me so much. But so Shumantro basically was the person who was there as Equinox along with Dilip Ghosh, and then I became a partner, and now Amita and me own it thanks to him. And therefore the question is, how are we navigating each other? I must say, hats off. You're like even changing the battery?
Yeah, because it's like heating up.
I must say, hey man, you know what? I'm envious and proud about the way you're handling this.
Thank you
so
much.
Well done. I think this is great.
150 episodes of the Bombay journey and about 20-25 of this.
And you know, now by battery gaya, ye problem ho gaya, ye ho gaya. Tiffin पीछे है नहीं है.
अब नहीं.
अच्छा, now this chair is going forward and I'm going to collapse into this because I don't know how to stop it.
Left side in the back.
Crisis. Please stop this so that you don't get. And if you're going to use this, I'm in trouble.
It's continuing to happen. What the fuck is
exactly?
Right now?
This is also part of the script that you just added, right?
This happened.
This now here I go. I know. I have to take this back. Some of these Firang cars I don't know about, but I know. Don't worry. I know this. I'm not just a middle class schoolboy who does not know how to deal with these cars and their fancy.
This has never happened. You are continuing to enter a thing.
And I can do this again. I can go all the way down and we can do a retake.
After one point I thought, this is just like, this is not happening. I chose to not believe it. So just press 1, I think it should be back to.
I'm back here. Except you see now this is the kind of metaphor. That, see, it's gone back to memory. I'm going to go in front again.
Oh, the memory is that.
The memory is that.
2. Let's see what 2 does.
But 1 minute. We have arrived at an amazing metaphor for this entire journey, which was the memory function.
The memory function.
And look what the memory function did to me. And I was not able to undo the memory function. And that has been the entire journey. I've given you a symbolic metaphor. The metaphore.
Wow. This is why he said it is difficult to understand him. I have been trying to crack him since the last 30 minutes. Now I can tell what the scene is.
Wait, but first that I want to undo memory, okay?
Okay.
भाई कुल्फी पैक करके चाहिए एक shall we what are you
Yeah, we'll take a parcel.
Yeah, 2 मलाई और 1 मिक्स.
Thank you. गलती को भी एडवर्टाइज करना कोई इनसे सीखे देखिए.
नहीं, और actually in my shoot, since I don't use action cut and I basically say if there's an accident, embrace it, because something will come from it. We got our entire show and the meaning of this show from that.
From this.
And that is the universe coming and telling us. And if we had not embraced that, then we would be lesser filmmakers. We've 100%. Planned it, we've organized it, we've rehearsed it.
But all of these things happen.
All of these things, yeah. But this is what life was. I'm trying to do it with a sense of humor.
Okay.
I think that's very, very important. But I'll tell you, even with Arya, what happened was meant to be a movie many years ago, and then a month, and we'd done the whole thing, and we'd done.
Great. Arya was supposed to be a film, right?
And I'd done everything, and then a month before it collapsed.
Ji.
And I remember calling up my whole team, which was like, there was 40, 50 of them with actors and everybody. And by the 20th call, and everybody was saying, Ram, doesn't matter, we'll get this back, it'll happen. And I started crying, and I couldn't take it. And I went through those 50 calls, and then I said, the only way to get out of this is by giving yourself a schedule.
Okay.
So I said to myself, I'm going to cry till tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock.
Wow.
And so I scheduled it, and you'll discover from my team a lot of the way I operate is through a calendar. And amazing. What I call is the tyranny of time. Because, so when Anna, one of my production designers in the office, was going to get married, they said, listen, it's in Ram's calendar. Yeah. Even if you don't want to get married now, that wedding will happen.
He has decided, so now has to.
अभी ये कैलेंडर में आ गया ना,
करना पड़ेगा.
तो मैंने शेड्यूल किया भाई कि कल दोपहर तक 12 बजे तक या 2 बजे तक
आप
रोएगा. उसके बाद you will. I called up Raj from Leo Burnett, and I said, Raj, I want you had offered me a Kindle ad which I was not free for, but now I'm free, and I played on a piece of music, and the Kindle ad happened. And on Monday, I called up Casby, and I said, Casby, the Nirja script that we've been working on for the last 2 years, I'm free. And can we go there and repitch it? And Nirja happened. And the scriptwriter in the sky, which I didn't realize at that time, was protecting me and had another script in mind, actually protected me by making Arya into a series and by making me actually do Nirja first.
Yeah.
So that's how it happened. And now, even when something bad happens, I tell myself that I will, how shall I say, like fall back into the lap of the universe.
But I got that feeling in your office also, because I had a feeling like we'd come for like a nashta, chai party kind of a thing. His wife walked in, made sure we'd been fed. That's the culture you have imbibed also, right?
I want to try and see how, like I said, I don't want to organize a shoot, I want to host a shoot.
Yeah.
I want to try and see how the process and not the result. The result I can't control. That's alchemy, as we know. And we don't know what it's going to become. But if I can control the process where people can, it's hard enough already.
Yeah.
And if we can try and see how we can look after people and see how to make it a little more comfortable and to try and make it a little more human. And I'm sure I'm failing all the time.
No, but that's great. I mean, for me, I want to do a LinkedIn post of my job update where I only write my failures.
Yeah.
So like, would you have a moment?
Samuel Beckett says, fail again, fail better.
Fail better. That's true. That's such a nice one.
Yeah. All this while I used to say art filmmaker, but there was one time when I distinctly remember where the occupation and I said filmmaker. Because not that art filmmaking is any bad or I love it, I'm passionate about it, but that was, I said no, I've not made a film, right? I've made an ad. So ab jo occupation jab likhe, so stupid on that customs card, I used to say art filmmaker, and then one day I said filmmaker. And I remember that moment when I was in the plane, because you're constantly, sort of saying, "Arey, pen nahi hai." Then somebody's asking you to write something for them, and some dadi is there at the side saying, can you please fill this in? And all this is all happening. And while the chaos of life was happening, and trying to find that pen and somebody else asking you for this. I distinctly remember putting down occupation filmmaker. हमको 20-30 साल लगे रोटी कपड़ा मकान में ना, because we were in the, but now what has happened is that they have that.
रोटी कपड़ा मकान internet है, the basic needs.
Basic needs are there.
Yeah.
And now what we are saying is, or they're saying is that, okay, that's great right now, because in that Maslow's hierarchy of needs that we learned, where are you going to next? And I think that self-actualization is something which is very, very important. And one of the films that I'm working on is about that, which is, it is going to be about spirituality. It is going to be about self-actualization. It is going to be about why are we here, what do we do? And I think a lot of our lives got into trying to just get a home.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
and
true.
that dabba.
Yeah. Sorting that dabba. Yeah.
Exactly.
100%.
But this is the beauty of our lives. It's chaos, right? I came back from Japan. It's beautiful.
Extremely
I love
organized.
the order. It's beautiful. It's the safest kind. I felt so safe there. But I want to embrace this chaos. All our lives is trying to figure out how to make things ordered.
Yeah.
And actually, we are a multi people, right? So
we are abundance of chaos.
Of chaos, because we have so many things, so many languages, so many so much food, so much traffic, so many cultures.
Yeah.
This is who we are. This is what we need to embrace. This is why we can't be like aisa hona chahiye, and and I keep saying that, bhai, aap log क्या बोल रहे हो इधर, like वेस एंडरसन का फ्रेमिंग होना चाहिए, हमको वो पता है, अच्छा, या हेनरी कार्टियर-ब्रेसॉन जैसा, but why not make chaotic framing? Why not be us? And more I'm trying to get to an Indian aesthetic, an Indian eye, an Indian way of telling, rather than, and because I was in NYU for a while, and I did have the opportunity of living in New York because my eldest brother stays there, and I said, no, if I'm making movies, I have to be here, even though my Hindi, as you can see, is fantastic. Yeah. I've started learning this year. Actually, no, I started learning last year. Kabir, singing, because I want to learn how to sing. This you will not ask me to do, and I will not do.
Fair enough.
And hopefully, when I do it, I will be very good at it. But currently, I've just started learning how to sing. And when I was thinking about what to learn how to sing, I said there is a certain portal. There are various portals. Is that also beeping?
Don't worry.
Everything is all good.
They'll cut between these two.
Cut between these two. Do we need to change a battery?
No, let it be. No.
As you can see, I'm very production-minded.
Yeah, I can tell. That's very important.
Yeah, it's very important.
Like mag change, otherwise we are fucked.
Exactly. No, I think there are various portals about how to get to a different way of being. One of the portals is music and singing. The other could be whatever that you want to choose. They're all good portals.
True.
And so even in this next series that we're doing, which is called The Waking of a Nation, which is on the Jallianwala Bagh tragedy, it's about the Hunter Commission. And it's about, 6 months after Jallianwala Bagh, they put out a commission which investigated, which had 5 Firangs and 5 Britishers and 3 Indians, about why it happened.
Yeah.
And so this is like an investigation in a courtroom drama, but really it is about what actually this whole journey is about, which is colonization.
Yeah.
The colonization of our cinema, the colonization of our minds, the colonization of our language. And so that's something which I did a short film called This Bloody Line, which was on Sir Cyril Ratcliffe, the Ratcliffe line. And so I'm worried about even me talking in English just now.
Yeah.
And that's fine, that's what it is. But therefore I'm making this series which is about that. But even in that, I have put Kabir.
So it stems from the spirituality that
it stems from something which, and I think that this nation, sort of, I'm not getting into religion, but I'm just saying in spirituality, I think that it is a nation which vibes with that. And we all do.
That's true.
Yeah.
Look at the mass that we are, right? There is a driving force.
And that's the film also that I want to make, which is on that. Because we've not had one for a long, long time.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we had Guide, maybe we had Siddhartha, which Shashi Kapoor was part of.
Yeah.
But we've not had a film that reaches out and asks those questions. Maybe this movie that recently that we saw, The Worst Person in the World, that is in a way an existential, it's about a person who's asking existential questions.
Yeah. Reality ko question karna.
Yeah, exactly. So those are all the things that I'm also now wanting to speak about.
But you're reading.
But I'm hoping that I'm not sort of a bore when I'm speaking all of this. Yeah, okay.
There is a great deal of philosophy, and you having read all of that philosophy that keeps reflecting in your chatter.
And I'm trying to practice it at times and failing, of course, again.
No, which is fair. What are you reading? Like, who all are you reading?
So, like, more and more, it's no longer the reading. It's just the meditation and the reflection. And I think that it's more about trying to get to a certain centering and a certain stability. And because we are in businesses we're in a business that is completely unstable.
That's true.
And how are you? And it is in some ways what we've chosen is the boot camp of anything that can go wrong to you.
That's true.
And if you have chosen this boot camp, then that's great, because you can't get a better boot camp about how you're going to yet be centered and how you're yet going to actually be compassionate and yet try and get the work done. And that's really what I tell myself, that this is good boot camp. And every day, of course, I am not succeeding at getting to that centering.
I know what you mean.
And I think we all tell ourselves, right, as filmmakers, that okay, now steady it, be calm, it's okay, don't freak out, it's fine, because every moment something is going wrong.
That's true. It doesn't help that you have your partner also in a similar space.
But she comes from a very different thinking, and she's extremely. The great thing about Amita is her energy and her joy, and in fact her it's okay kind of feeling. And I think that really balances it out.
That's true.
So I think that's been one of the good things about having Amita part of the journey, because she manages and fixes and has a different energy than I do, and that balance, I think, is got us to a nice sort of hybridness.
That's true. Hybrid is the key word.
Yeah, exactly. This is what this is, and now we have to work with what this is. And I'm hoping that will keep me relevant, and it'll keep me not in a fake way. Not that I'm saying this because I'm saying it in front of the camera, but that's the reason I'm here. And that's the reason that I'm in this car.
Perfect. And your casting process, is there a specific way you approach casting?
Well, Abhimanyu Ray has been our casting director, and Kanika was one of the casting director on Nirja. And so a lot of the time, the casting, I'm trying to see how I can get to unactedness. I don't know, again, this whole thing is about failure and not succeeding, but these are all the goals, right? I'm trying to get to somebody who does not know how to act. I think that people who know how to act, like, I get a little scared.
They act.
They act. And so a lot of the time I'm trying to figure out, like, even when I'm working with actors, I'm trying to see how is it that you know your lines, but I know my line just now, but I'm trying to think of my next line while I'm saying this line. So therefore there is a look in my eye that is therefore giving you the truth about me not having rehearsed this line. And therefore that means that, of course, you know that you're meant to say something, but you're yet thinking the inner workings of your mind, which is what is making this moment mysterious. Is what I'm trying to look for in that actor. And if he can understand that and succumb to the process of arriving at that, of that unactedness, then I think that therefore I'll work with you, because you're allowed me to do that, rather than saying, nahi, cut, yaar, wo barabar nahi tha. No, but excuse me, that's not the way it works. You're not meant to be acting, you're meant to be reacting. You're meant to be and therefore I will never have an actor work to a thermocol. I will never have an actor, sort of say, where's my look? That it's not as if that other person is doing you a favor by being in the other room, the other actor. That other actor is being covered in my 3 to 4.
The environment that they need to be
exactly.
in.
That's the energy that you're operating off. If you are open to the system of working in this system, which I now call as System 360, which is being aware of the whole thing, like you are, to make this moment truthful. Battery bhi ja raha hai, seat bhi ho raha hai, kuch tiffin bhi ja raha hai.
Beech mein pura
ye ho gaye, which was the memory function of our lives, which I got into a womb-like position, not to miss the metaphor again.
Wow, amazing. which is life.
Yeah, which is life. Now, are you open to this or are you going to act?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
would you have said cut?
Yeah. Or
This
like,
is more. That was life. Embrace it.
Yeah, or be like, "Arey, I'm really sorry. This doesn't happen." Hey, होता है.
Yeah.
मुंबई में गर्मी है.
अच्छा हुआ. Yeah, I will look stupid. It's fine.
No, you are human. You can be the Ram Madhvani, but you're human. ऐसा वाला सीन है ना वो मेरे लिए.
What the Ram Madhvani?
मेरे लिए एक टारगेट था to have दिग्गज as you on the show. अभी मैं बंद करके बैठ सकता है घर पे, टेंशन नहीं है.
What the Ram Madhvani?
No, it's true.
There is no the's. I normally know. Is it going to be by and large okay? I know where the problems lie, and I know what I can correct and what I can't correct. And I'm quite self-critical about that, and I'm watching it for a feeling. And if I get that, then the rest of it is hard work and 2-3 months more of cussedness. And that day is a very important day.
Yeah.
That rough cut, when we did Nirja, it was a 2-hour 45-minute cut. I knew we had to bring it down to under 2 hours.
Yeah.
So that means that's going to be like, or even 2 hours 10 minutes. So I knew that 40 minutes has to go, 30 minutes have to go, and that's a huge lot.
Yeah,
but
I
knew that at 2 hours 45 minutes, I said, okay, I'm done. I've got a film here. Now the rest of it is hard work, but वो दिल पे
वो satisfaction की एक product है.
Touch मिल गया. दिल का touch हो गया.
Fair enough.
And I'm really only looking for that feeling. Did I cry? Did I feel? And I'm trying to be very hard that audience member for seeing it for the first time, for myself. Not that audience member who's that audience member, but this audience member who's watching it for the first time.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying, I go, I wash my face, I take a deep breath, I come, I then talk to myself, I say, okay, now Ram, you're watching this, forget everything that, happened or that you were part of or not part of. And now let's just absorb what this is.
Perfect.
And that day, that evening, that satisfaction, which lasts maybe 30 seconds, which is what that entire 2 or 3 years or 5 years journey was. Because and when I'm walking down that corridor, down that steps, I say, okay, take a breath, I think you're okay. And that's how long that satisfaction lasts.
That's it.
And that's what our lives are.
Yeah.
We're just aiming for that moment.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it, of course, if the audience likes it and the critics like it or don't like it, is all part of the ups and downs of your response to that. True. What that is, but your response to it.
Yeah, I know. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
But do you have creative blocks? Like at one point you'll just be like, कुछ चमक ही नहीं रहा यार, कुछ समझ ही नहीं आ रहा. Then what are you doing at that point?
No, I don't have.
You don't have those at all?
No, I don't have creative blocks. I work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told you I'm a headbanger.
That's true.
I'm at it. Oh shit, it didn't work out. What shall we do? There was one friend of ours who's also a director, and he said, and it's so stupid, but he said, Ram, आप कभी खराब काम नहीं करोगे ना? I said, I don't know about that, but because I'm constantly trying to chisel at it, I'm trying to see, sort of how it can get to, like, not kharab.
That's true.
But some people may yet think that I've done very bad work, and that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. What you think is fair. But like नेशनल अवार्ड के बाद वाला जो एक प्रेशर हो सकता है वो नहीं है आपके ऊपर?
नहीं, वो नहीं है. But because that was such a surprise and it was such a big moment in our lives. It was huge. It's genuinely, Amita was there, my brother came down, Baman was there, and my whole family, and my middle brother, everybody like sort of it was a big moment in our lives, and it's something to sort of say that when you go up there on that stage and you are in that auditorium and then you receive it from the president, it is a big feeling.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a proper frame also, no?
Yeah, exactly. It's there in the office. So thank you for a safe journey. We'll go up. But
yes, perfect.
You were perfect. I was a good navigator.
How did you like
it? Driver. Apart from that lovely moment
where
the memory of my life came and made me into a boom like that. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, but thank you Range Rover for sending up the autobiography. Famous studio.
One of the rare last
remaining
buildings from where Gurudutt and everybody started. This is where our office is.
How long have you been here?
I'm not going to tell. Let's do son. But this is us. This is our, no, but I'm not going to tell you. But
you started
this is
here.
we started here. I started as an assistant and a trainee. Not even this is 2 rooms. We had 1 room, and so this is where Shwantra and Dilip Ghosh and I came as a trainee in this 1 room, which we'll take you into. Now it's 2 rooms and it's very hep, but it wasn't hep then.
Oh, lovely. So you've constantly kind of renovated and.
Yes, so this
has got the old arches and those.
Yeah, the ceiling height and all that, but it's all been redone, and that's Amita, who's.
Hello.
Yes,
We've spoken about you a great deal. So nice to see you.
That's
Say hello to the camera.
Sia, our
Hi,
EP,
Sia.
who's got caught in the camera and doesn't want to be.
Yeah,
and she'll get embarrassed.
Thank you, Sia.
That's Manoj over there, who's in the silhouette, who's our producer on advertising. Who's been
he's
around.
On call.
Yeah, he's on call.
It's almost like character.
Meaning, full 2 phone calls in hand.
And this is the corridor we discussed and spoke about.
So my entire life started in this room, and
Yes.
it goes down all this corridor till that room, and I'm hoping that that's basically
So
it.
how are they split? So this is like
So this is the producer sit.
Okay.
Okay, then I shall show you where. This is my production. Hi everybody, say hi.
Hello.
Yeah.
Production folks very hassled.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they're saying
Suddenly
why.
like-
What is all these people doing over here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come.
But thank you. I like how there is like old world charm.
Oh
little
gosh,
of everything everywhere.
that's nice, no? It's not an
Yeah.
office.
Yes.
This is accounts. That's Raja, our CFO. That's Rajesh.
Hello.
This is the whole team.
Yes, he's on the top of that Avengers pyramid.
Yes, exactly, exactly. I know. So, I went to Japan. So I was there in a temple. So they gave me something as a memory. That's something that my son painted.
Wow.
And that's something that my wife gave me for my birthday, which says Ram, the light seeker. And this is Jeeni Jeeni Chadariya, which is a song that I'm learning on Kabir.
And like
That's our logo.
Yeah, how
which
did it
is
come
also
about?
over there. My father expired when I was very young.
Yeah.
And this is one of the memories that he left. So I decided I'd make it into the logo, which is it's just a boy who's
You've
like,
named him, I've heard.
Yes, now that's something
Kiddo.
that you can, kiddo.
Very inventive.
So this is really about a boy who's at the edge of the
Hanji.
universe, who's about to fall off.
But he's looking up.
But he's looking up in wonder. So
which is
this is
fine,
really
yeah.
what, so that's why our logo is coming from a memory of my father's. That's some of the awards. Some of the awards here, and then there's the
This is just like the first time I'm seeing a lion.
hold it. It's heavy.
One bronze
It's
and
heavy.
one. Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's very heavy.
It is heavy, yeah.
That's what they say now as soon as they do it.
Yeah, even the Filmfare is heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a heavy award.
No, but I've been to the Bachchan house now, so
So you've seen that.
Filmfare in abundance.
Exactly, I
Udhar
know.
tak.
And then this is the national award, which was
This is a dream, yes.
Yeah, this is a big moment for in our lives. So
They've changed this. It used to be this thing. Oh, I know somebody who's framed it.
so
Framed
then
differently.
that's where the medal is, and that's so
Yeah.
we put it in
So cool.
we put it in this. So that's in
And
some
there
books.
is versions of the Ramayana.
There's versions of the Ramayana in Ram's office.
Yes. An obvious choice. But good fun. I think we're looking forward to what are we seeing that's going to come?
Arya season 3,
Yes.
and then The Waking of a Nation,
Yes.
and I can tell you 6 more, but I'm not going to tell you yet.
Oh yes. All the best. Thank you so much for being on Mashable Mornings.
Thank you.
This has been very, very fun.
Thank you.
Thank you, people.
Thank you.
Bye.